America's cities. How many times have you heard somebody say, nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there? Pollution, noise, traffic, urban sprawl, there's always something to complain about. And fixing these problems isn't easy. It takes time and a lot of money. Or does it? Tonight we're going to take you to a remarkable city that solved some of its worst problems without spending millions. What's the secret? Could it work in your town? John Larson takes us on a Dateline around the world.
Imagine for a moment a city where almost everything works. From public transportation to public schools. A city with clean air and free daycare. Where if you want something done right, you get government to do it? Come on.
It's possible. It's possible.
Where is it possible? Well, it's in a country known for the Amazon rainforest, sexy beaches, crushing poverty and corruption. Yet here it is, a supposedly shining example. The continent, South America. The country, Brazil. The city, Curitiba.
We are not a rich country. We are rich in potential.
If this place is really all that special, this is the man who gets most of the credit, Jaime Lerner.
When you don't have money, you have to be creative.
In fact, Mayor Lerner has been so creative, people from around the world are now not only studying what he did, but how he did it.
You had this vision for the street. No automobiles?
No automobiles.
None?
None.
See, in the United States, we think good streets are for cars.
This is terrible. You know, traffic engineers, they can kill a city.
In 1971, Lerner was a young architect with a head full of ideas when he was appointed mayor. He surrounded himself with other architects and city planners, and before anyone had time to stop him, he tore up 3 blocks of city street and built a place just for people.
How long did it take you to build this? 6 months?
72 hours.
72 hours.
72 hours.
His 3-block pedestrian zone was so popular it grew to 24 blocks. It's now a remarkable, vibrant city center. Now this is the part where if you're a politician, you might want to take a few notes. Because Lerner decided the key to political success was to get a lot done in a short amount of time without spending much money. Sound radical? Take traffic and congestion, for example. Lerner changed many streets into high-speed bus routes. He redesigned city buses to carry more people, to load and unload quickly. And at rush hour, you wait only 45 seconds for a bus. He convinced private contractors to invest $45 million. The result, 75% of the city's commuters now use the bus system, among the highest ratio of any city in the world.
So does the whole thing lose money? Do you have to subsidize it all every year?
Never. It's one of the few systems in the world which is not subsidized.
Okay, so the buses work. But what about poverty?
Curitiba is not a paradise.
Lerner saw the harsh reality of daily life for the poor, and in 1989 he set out to change it. The favelas, the cramped third-world slums, were filthy and getting worse.
In many of the slums, the roads were either too narrow or too steep, so city garbage trucks could not get in. The trash began piling up, and with all that filth came rats and disease. And that's when Mayor Lerner reportedly told his staff, "This problem is going to have to be fixed. Curitiba does not have much money, so the solution better be innovative."
With prices collapsing, Lerner bought fresh fruit and vegetables from neighboring farmers who needed the subsidy, and then gave the food to people in the favelas, with one creative condition.
We're gonna buy their garbage.
You're saying you got the people to collect their own garbage, you gave them food for it, You helped the farmers who were growing it.
Yes.
And it didn't cost you millions of dollars.
No.
And you recycled it.
Yes. The result of the recycling is being invested in social programs.
And it's by saving money that Curitiba has knit together an extraordinary safety net.
Aqui com o pai, filho.
Poor families like the De Silvas not only earn money from recycling and exchange their garbage for food, but the city built them this one-room house. It's a basic existence, but compare it to the drainage ditch where they used to live.
You lived here for 13 years.
Yeah.
Do you know Jaime Lerner?
Se eu conheço Jaime Lerner?
You've heard of him?
Conheço, ele veio aqui.
He gave things that the previous politicians never gave me. I can only be grateful.
The De Silvas, like everyone in this city of more than 1.5 million people, can take their children to city-provided daycare and know they'll be safe in after-school care. The cost?
Nothing.
They're free?
Free.
Now you're probably saying, this could never happen in my city. The politicians would fight, they'd hire expensive consultants who would study things to death, the lawyers would sue, nothing would get done, and it would still cost millions. Lerner's answer? Curitiba has lawyers and consultants too. Just don't let them run the city.
Experts would tell you you can't do it.
You can't do it.
Not possible.
His quick, decisive, and often low-cost actions bred their own political power, and with that, he got things done.
Sometimes you have to start with a very simple solution.
You mean start before you've got all the answers?
Start before you get all the answers.
It's too good to be true.
It's true. What can I tell you?
It actually works.
It actually works.
American Bill McKibben lived in Curitiba and wrote about the city in his book, Hope, Human and Wild.
The lessons we've got to take from this place are that a city with tremendous disadvantages, poverty, explosive growth, is able to do things that look sort of miraculous by our standards.
Miraculous may sound like an overstatement, until you see what they did with one of Brazil's toughest problems.
Do you have homes? Families?
No, Febres no. Febres no.
Street children, most without families and addicted to sniffing glue. Where other Brazilian cities have failed, Curitiba has successfully moved 8,000 kids like these off the streets and into shelters. Lerner's government set up accounts for the kids and paid them, with one condition. They could collect the money only if they stayed off the street, in school, or worked a job. So now street kids who used to steal flowers help tend the city's botanical gardens. Now you must be asking, where did a poor city get the money to do all of this? The answer is so simple, it's unsettling. They got the money by not spending it as other cities might have. For example, like most cities, Los Angeles spent millions of dollars rerouting its rivers, trying to contain them with expensive concrete flood control projects. Curitiba decided to leave its rivers alone, using only a fraction of the money available to them to buy the land which flooded each year and then build a few inexpensive dams. The rivers still flood a few days a year, but the rest of the time, Curitiba enjoys one of the most extensive park systems of any city in the world.
But with this creative solution, there was a downside. The city of Curitiba suddenly had miles and miles of new public park lands, and it looked like they would need to hire an army of gardeners just to cut the grass.
Lerner's solution? These city employees with 4 legs and heavy wool coats. City sheep and city shepherds keep the parks well clipped. And the wool? It goes to programs keeping kids off the streets. So how does this story end? Well, the 60-year-old Lerner's had more success. He built the city's stunning new opera house and an abandoned rock quarry in just 60 days. He designed buildings made with recycled telephone poles to save the environment and save money. But despite a 92% approval rating, Lerner is no longer mayor of Curitiba. Voters elected him governor, and now many want him to be president of Brazil, a job he claims he doesn't want. But there is one job he'd like to take on.
You ever think about being mayor of New York?
I would like to be a mayor for one term, a mayor of a big city, just to try to prove that it's not a problem of scale.
For people who don't see it yet, what is it that is so beautiful about this to you?
What like? Como vai?
Oi, seu Guilherme.
Oi!
I think they just answered the question.
So what do you think, New York, or America for that matter? A politician who fixes things and spends less money. What are the odds?
Did you pay them to do that?
No, sure.
I didn't think so.
At the very least, Curitiba's buses are certainly generating interest here in the United States. The Department of Transportation, as well as a number of large cities, are studying the high-speed bus lines. Just a few months ago, Los Angeles Mayor Richard Riordan visited Curitiba to see the system in action. Could it work in LA, where the car is king? Stay tuned. Imagine having